Hey everybody, welcome back to day number 15 of 31 days of your scrapbooking Q&As. And today we have a question from Carrie who says, new question idea, it seems that every time I look at a video or blog, the pages all have just one photo on them. I could see where you'd want to do this sometimes for certain photos, but how do you tell the whole story with just one photo? So Carrie, two separate issues here. One is the proliferation of single photo pages, and two is the idea of telling a complete story. So let's talk about the first one first. Why do we see so many layouts with just one photo? And here is the main reason it used to be that way in magazines. And I'm trying to see if I have a scrapbooking magazine around here that I can flip to and show you. This is Everyday Storyteller, edited by Jennifer Wilson of simplescrapper.com. And you'll see when I just flip to a page, this is C.D. McCoskey. I love C.D. Here's a page. These just have one photo or one large photo and smaller photos. That is very, very common, but there are still tons of layouts out there that have multi-photos. So Paula Gilardi right here. I don't know how well you can see this. Let me flip over to my camera so I can see if I'm showing you. Her main page there, Storyland, and then over on this page, her pages all have multiple photos. But I agree that it is very, very common. Here's Debbie Hodge. Her pages are also multi-photos. It is very common to have galleries full, or it seems like full, of pages that have just one photo, either one tiny photo, one big photo, the whole page is a photo. And I think the main reason this happened is in magazines, they actually photograph much better. What happens when you have a page that's got a single photo, like this one by Betsy Samarco, who I don't know, but I think I must meet her because I love this page. One photo, you can see it very well on a page, but if you go to a page that's got multiple photos, and let me find one of those, it kind of frustrates the reader because we're looking at it trying to see what those photos are. They're so small we can't really see them too well, and as a result, it's a bad viewer experience. So in magazines, chose layouts to be featured, oftentimes, especially on the cover, it would be one page with one large photo. Now, I think as a result of that, people who are imitating what they would see in the magazines, either consciously or subconsciously, started trending towards the single photo page. Now, I do a lot of single photo pages now because I'm getting pickier. I'm getting pickier about the photos I take. I'm getting pickier about the photos I develop. I'm getting pickier about the photos I scrapbook. As a result, I have fewer pages that I choose, or excuse me, fewer photos that I choose from. I used to scrapbook pretty much everything when I was a chronological scrapbooker. If I took the photo, I developed the photo, I scrapbooked the photo. That was my process. Now my process is very, very different. I start more often with a story in mind. Like I want to tell a story about Callie's talent show, for instance. So instead of including 13 photos that I took at Callie's talent show, I want just one photo that really captures the moment, and that is enough. And I want to fill in the gaps with the story. So that is, there's some reasons why we see a lot of one photo pages. One is that they look better in magazines. Two is people started imitating what they'd see in magazines and in galleries. And three, a lot of times we're becoming choosier. Also, I think a fourth reason might be that we're moving away from that chronological scrapbooking and moving towards personality pages, as Stacy Julian calls them, or memory-based scrapbooking, or rather than the event-based scrapbooking. So for an event, we might feel like we need photos from the beginning, the middle, and the end to convey the overall event. But when we're scrapbooking a specific memory, one photo might be enough to convey that. So I think that's a lot of the reasons that you may find single photo pages in galleries and online and in magazines. The second part of your question, which I don't know if you intended as a second part, but really stood out to me, was how do you scrapbook a complete story? Now, to me, in one of our past layout days, it was called "You Are a Storyteller," and it's one of my favorite loads ever. And I actually turned it into its own ebook with some audio interviews that accompany it, and I will link that up below this video. We talked about how we often think about words for telling stories. and photos. We relied heavily on those two elements, but there's a lot more to storytelling than just one aspect. It could be through the colors you choose, or the design elements you choose, or the way you place things on the page and their relationship to each other. Those are all part of the story that we're telling. So you might start the story with the photo, but carry it over into the title and the journaling and the embellishments on the page. And then together they make a complete story. It's not supposed to be a storyboard like a photo where we got up in the morning, we went to the zoo, we saw the monkeys, we saw the zebras, we saw the giraffes, we had a shaved ice, we got in the car, we went home. We don't need to tell that whole story. Those are not the stories that I, as a scrapbooker, am trying to tell right now. Instead, I'm trying to tell more about the personality, the untold stories of that event. What really stood out to Callie? Was she taken with the idea that the animals were in cages and that really bothered her? Or was she enthralled by the snakes and I thought they were going to horrify her, but she was actually really, really excited about the possibility of touching one? Those are the stories I want to tell. Anybody can get a picture book and look through it and see what a trip to the zoo looks like. But what did the trip to the zoo look like for this child on this day in this family? And to me, it's that unique aspect of her personality, our interactions together, the unexpected elements that might get forgotten in our scrapbooks that I'm trying to capture. So again, a lot of different elements come into the play there with the photograph, the title, the elements you choose on your page, the colors. And if you're interested in talking about those types of things, how you can make your storytelling more fleshed out beyond just photos or beyond just words, then I encourage you to grab a hold of that You Are a Storyteller ebook and audio combo, because it's one of the products and projects that I'm most proud of. And I'll again link it up below this video. So I hope that answers your question, Carrie, or your questions. And I guess a third point I would want to make on that is don't worry what everybody else is doing. Do what makes sense to you. If you are someone who is extremely visual with the photos and you don't feel like a page is complete unless you have that storyboard on there, do the storyboard. It's your scrapbook. But if you want to try some of these single photo pages, give them a shot. You can always go back and add more photos later. You could always scrapbook the page again and again from different angles and different stories. And that's something I do too, is I won't necessarily just do one page for an event. I might do 5 pages, each capturing a different aspect of that event. So don't think that one page with one photo is all the story there is to tell. It might be for some people. For you, you might need more pages, more photos, more context. It's totally up to you. Make it what works for you. And I just want to add on here, Legends Baseball, Ben's team is playing in the finals for their league today, and I'm getting ready to head out to the game. So I will see you Monday with more questions and more answers. Bye, everybody.